Let me tell you a story. A man walks down from a mountain after 10 years of silence. He's not a prophet of God. He's not here to save your soul. He's here with a message so earth-shattering that most people are still not ready to hear it. He says, God is dead, and we have killed him. Now wait, this isn't about religion. This is about something much deeper. It's about meaning, identity, power, responsibility. When Nietzsche wrote, "Thus spoke Zarathustra," he wasn't just writing a book, he was issuing a challenge. If the old truths are gone, if the heavens are silent, if no one is coming to save us, then what do? We rise, we evolve, we become something greater. Nietzsche gives us a vision of a new kind of human, one who doesn't beg for meaning from the outside, but creates it from within. He called this person the Übermensch, the overman, not a superhero, but a soul that's mastered itself. This book isn't light reading. It's a philosophical firestorm. It'll burn your illusions, but if you stay with it, it might just rebuild your mind. And it all begins with a single voice coming down from the mountains. Thus spoke Zarathustra. What happens when the very foundation of your world vanishes, not in an explosion, not in a war, but silently, quietly, like the fading echo of a prayer no longer believed? Nietzsche writes, God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. Now pause, think. He's not talking about a literal God dying. He's talking about the collapse of the values we've built for centuries. Morality, purpose, good, evil, those were once anchored in the divine. But now, modernity has torn them loose. Science questions miracles, empires fall, faith becomes fashion, and people wander, not with clarity, but with confusion masked as freedom. In the book, a madman runs into the marketplace shouting, "Where is God? I will tell you. We have killed him, you and I." People laugh. They think he's insane. But Nietzsche knew the madman wasn't mad. He was the only one awake. We are living in that aftermath, a world where the old gods are gone, but no one has built anything to take their place. This isn't nihilism. It's a warning, because when there is no truth, people don't become free. They become lost. They chase money, pleasure, control. They distract themselves with dopamine, but live with despair. Nietzsche asks, can you live without a crutch? Can you build meaning without tradition holding your hand? The death of God isn't the end. It's the beginning of a terrifying freedom. No rules, no answers, just the raw clay of existence, and the terrifying, beautiful task of shaping it. The death of God is not a funeral, it's a birth. After the death of God, what next? The old values are gone. The commandments are dust. So, what fills the void? Zarathustra points upward, not to heaven, but to something higher within us. He speaks of the Übermensch, the overman, the beyond man. Man is something that shall be overcome, he says. Now, hold on, that's not arrogance, that's an invitation. Think of it like this. Human beings today are like bridges, not the final product, but something in between the ape, who obeyed only instinct, and the Übermensch, who creates values, not just follows them. So, who is this Übermensch? He's not a superhero. He's not perfect. He's not a billionaire in a cape. He is someone who says, the world doesn't give me meaning, I give the world meaning. He doesn't need approval. He doesn't worship old gods. He builds his own moral compass. But here's the catch. Becoming the Übermensch is painful. You have to shed your old self, abandon the comfort of victimhood, take full responsibility, even for things that aren't your fault. It's like burning down your emotional house, just to build something more honest. What does not kill me makes me stronger. Nietzsche wasn't talking about just surviving. He was talking about transforming. The Übermensch looks at chaos and dances with it. He turns pain into power. He turns loneliness into self-realization. He walks alone, but never in despair, because he knows this. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. And that's the power of this idea. It's not about being better than others. It's about being better than who you were yesterday. Not a follower, not a rebel, a creator. So ask yourself, are you living someone else's script, or are you writing your own? The Übermensch is not some unreachable ideal. He is what's waiting on the other side of your fear. Imagine this. You're alone, and a shadow appears beside you. Not a man, not a god, a demon. And it whispers something that freezes your soul. What if every single moment of your life, you had to live it again? Not just once, but forever. Every breath, every mistake, every heartbreak, repeated endlessly. Would you curse that idea, or would you say, yes, let it be so? This is Nietzsche's most haunting challenge, eternal recurrence, not a metaphysical theory, but a psychological mirror. He's not saying this will literally happen. He's asking, are you living a life you would willingly relive over and over and over again? No edits, no skipping the pain, every awkward silence, every betrayal, every tiny joy. Would you own it? If the answer is no, then maybe you're not really living. See, Nietzsche isn't torturing us with this idea. He's trying to wake us up. Most people sleepwalk through life. They obey, they endure, they wait. For what? For permission? For someday? Nietzsche says, there is no someday. There is only this moment. And it's asking you a question. Would you do this again? If you say yes, then you are aligned with your soul. If not, then you must change something radically, immediately. Eternal recurrence is the ultimate test of authenticity. Would you still be in that relationship? Would you still do that job? Would you still wake up with the same thoughts? Because here's the secret. When you live as if you chose every second, your life transforms. Pain becomes sacred. Decisions become deliberate. You stop playing victim. You start becoming author. Live so that you wish to live again. This is your task, Nietzsche whispers. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. That's your soul knocking. Picture a crowd, a tired, tamed, satisfied crowd. No passion, no ambition, just comfort. They've traded risk for safety, curiosity for convenience, challenge for entertainment. This, Nietzsche says, is the rise of the last man. The last man says, what is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star? And he blinks. He blinks. This creature doesn't suffer, doesn't strive, doesn't burn. He blinks, bored, numb, content. He's the man who scrolls but never reads, who lives but never questions, who survives but never becomes. And Nietzsche warns us, this is not peace, it's decay. It's a soul sedated, because somewhere along the way, humanity got tired. Tired of struggle, tired of responsibility, tired of becoming, and instead of aiming higher, we flattened ourselves to comfort. But then, out of the silence, a new voice rises. It's not a god, it's not a prophet, it's the creator, the one who dares to carve meaning out of chaos, who doesn't inherit values, but invents them, who isn't afraid to fall because he's committed to rising. Nietzsche says, man is something to be overcome, and the one who does it, he is the bridge between what is and what could be. He is the Übermensch, not a tyrant, but a creator, not above others, but above himself. Where the last man chooses sedation, the creator chooses fire. Where the last man avoids pain, the creator welcomes it as fuel. Where the last man fades, the creator becomes. So the question is simple and terrifying. Are you becoming the last man? Or are you answering the call to create? Because comfort feels safe, but it steals your soul. Creation feels dangerous, but it builds your future. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you created something? Not just a painting or a post, but a belief, a way of life, a version of yourself that didn't exist before. That is the will to power. And no, it's not about control or conquering others. Nietzsche's will to power is not the thirst for domination. It's the burning force within every human being to shape, to transform, to become. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche paints a new image of life, not as a test, not as a punishment, not as submission to someone else's rulebook, but as a canvas. And you are the artist. The will to power is your creative engine. It's what drives you to say, I will not just exist. I will define how I exist. Zarathustra doesn't come down from the mountain to hand out commandments. He doesn't say, follow me. He says, break your idols, question everything, think for yourself. He doesn't want followers. He wants creators. The will to power is what turns pain into wisdom, struggle into beauty, silence into poetry. It's the power that says, I will write my values in fire across the sky. Not because they are perfect, but because they are mine. Think about this. What if you stopped living on autopilot, stopped waiting for permission, stopped hiding behind excuses? What if you embraced the chaos of life, not to control it, but to dance with it? That's the will to power. So here's the real question. Are you reacting to life, or are you sculpting it? Because you're not a passive character in someone else's story. You're the author, the painter, the composer, and your life, it's your masterpiece. Let's take a breath, because up till now, Nietzsche's world has been intense. God is dead. Morality is shattered. You are called to rise like fire from the ashes. But suddenly, Zarathustra laughs. He plays, he jokes, he contradicts himself, and we're left wondering, is he serious? Or is this man, this prophet, this philosopher, wearing a mask? You see, Nietzsche isn't a preacher. He's not handing you a perfect doctrine. He's more like a trickster at the edge of the firelight, telling stories that sound like riddles. I love those who do not know how to live except by going under. What does that mean? It means he loves the ones who risk destruction for the sake of growth. The ones who fall, evolve, and rise again, not because they're fearless, but because they trust the fall more than the safety of comfort. Zarathustra teaches like a Zen master. Sometimes silence is the lesson, sometimes laughter. He knows truth isn't a straight line. It bends, it contradicts, it dances. Here's the real wisdom. If your truth can't laugh, can't evolve, can't breathe, it's not truth, it's dogma. Nietzsche wants your soul to stay alive, to dance with paradox, to embrace contradiction, to wear masks without losing your face. Because sometimes the mask reveals more than the face ever could. Think about your own journey. How often have you changed your mind, only to realize you were never lying before? You are growing. How many times have you laughed at a version of yourself you once took so seriously? That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Zarathustra's laughter echoes through the mountains like thunder, not to mock you, but to wake you. Because true philosophy isn't just thinking deeply, it's living wildly. Wisdom isn't rigid, it breathes, it laughs, it wears masks, it contradicts itself. Because that's how it stays alive. Let's face it, the real enemy isn't outside of you. It's not your boss. It's not the system. It's not even society's expectations. The real battle, the one that defines your life, is the fight inside your own soul. Nietzsche doesn't believe in peace of mind. He doesn't believe in a state where you finally sit back, content with life, where everything is just okay. No, he believes in the struggle of soul, in the constant friction, the ongoing tension between your lower self and your higher self. Because, to Nietzsche, your old self must die for your higher self to be born. Your comfort zones must burn down. Your limits must be smashed. You must become who you are. Not the person you are taught to be, not the version that plays safe, not the person defined by your past mistakes or your insecurities, but the person who rises above them. This, my friends, is the essence of self-overcoming. Nietzsche is calling you to kill what holds you back, to break the chains of laziness, to conquer your ego, to slay your fear. And here's the kicker. You have to do it again and again and again. The battle isn't won and done. It's an eternal fight to evolve, to push the boundaries of who you can be. Every day is a new arena for you to defeat the weaker version of yourself. Think about this. What's the version of yourself you know you could leave behind? The part that procrastinates, the part that takes the easy way out, the version of you that makes excuses and avoids discomfort. Nietzsche doesn't want you to love yourself in that version. He wants you to transcend it, because this is the essence of your real journey, not just self-improvement, but self-overcoming. You are your greatest obstacle. Your desires, your doubts, your laziness, they're all parts of you trying to keep you small. So ask yourself, where are you still playing small? Where are you letting fear control your actions? Where are you avoiding discomfort because it's easier to stay comfortable? Your higher self won't emerge without a fight. It won't come through easy days. It will only emerge when you kill what's weak, what's afraid, what's stagnant inside of you. Nietzsche's message is simple, yet brutal. The greatest battle is not against external forces, but against your own limitations. Every victory over your lower self is a rebirth. Every time you choose to grow, to push yourself, to face your fears, you become who you were always meant to be. Self-overcoming isn't a single event. It's a lifetime's work. It's about slaying the parts of you that hold you back and creating the version of yourself that can truly live. Let's pause for a moment and look around us. Today's world in many ways feels like the age of the last men. We're addicted to comfort. We're drowning in distractions. We avoid anything that challenges us. We hide from the hard truths. We're surrounded by people who don't dream beyond the mundane, who don't seek to rise above the ordinary, who are content with simply existing. The last men. They don't want greatness. They don't want struggle. They don't want to take risks. They only want to be safe, comfortable, unquestioning, and most importantly, compliant. But here's the twist. Nietzsche isn't a pessimist. He's not condemning us. He's challenging us. He's not telling us to sit back and accept the world as it is. He's calling us to become something greater. Zarathustra's message is loud and clear. Don't follow, create. Don't obey, become. Don't worship, become worthy of worship. In this world, we don't need more followers. We don't need more people who accept what's handed to them. We don't need more people looking to be told what to do. We need creators. We need people who step out of line, who create their own paths. People who make their own values, not just consume the ones given to them. People who redefine what it means to be human. Nietzsche's call isn't just for individual greatness. It's a challenge to society itself. Stop living for comfort. Stop living for the approval of others. Create a life that's your own, not one that's simply lived for you by someone else. Today, Zarathustra's words still ring true, because deep down, we all carry the potential to break free from the noise, to break free from the distractions, to become who we were always meant to be, a force of creation, not submission, if we dare, if we rise. So, ask yourself, are you a follower or are you creating? Are you waiting for someone to tell you who to be, or are you shaping who you want to become? Are you just consuming, or are you making something worth following? In a world that tells you to blend in, Zarathustra says, stand out, create, become. Nietzsche's philosophy isn't just theory, it's a blueprint for action, a blueprint for self-creation, a blueprint for shaping a world not of passive followers, but one where we all become worthy of worship by our actions, our will, and our creations. Thus, Spoke Zarathustra is not just a book, it's a mirror. It doesn't give you neat, packaged answers. It doesn't tell you exactly what to do. Instead, it reflects your soul back to you raw and untamed. It forces you to confront yourself. So here's the real question that Zarathustra asked you. Are you living like the last man? Comfortable, complacent, and content with the ordinary? Or are you becoming something greater? Pushing the limits of your potential, creating, evolving, and transcending.